So here we are on a new topic, and it is bearing and distance. Well, bearing and distance is a very important topic, especially in the field of mathematics, even physics, right? When we talk about bearing, what do we mean? What is bearing and distance? That's the first question. You see, bearing is the angular distance, angular position of a place from a reference point. We'll look at an example later. We just take that definition in. And what is distance? Obviously, distance is the total length between two given points, two given positions, say position A and position B. Alright? Distance and bearing is the representation of speed, that's velocity, as a vector quantity in terms of direction, in terms of magnitude. The angle gives us the direction, while the distance gives us the magnitude between those two given places, and it is always from your reference point. So it's more of it's a relative velocity case when you are looking at physics typically, or let's not take it that far. Now let's look at an example. If I have this, for example, you have, this is a point. Let's say this boy A, this boy B, and then this an angle. This is boy B. Now, I mean, this is boy B, boy A rather. Let's say this angle is 0.53 degree. This is this 15 kilometers. Now, how do we read this? How do we understand it? We say that the bearing of A from B is what? Is 53. With a distance of 15 kilometers apart. They are 15 kilometers apart. This angle is very, very important. It's it gives us the position of A. Without this angle, you can't tell the position of A. Maybe east, maybe west, maybe south. If the only information we have is just 15 kilometers. So this angle makes it possible for us to determine the position of that particular person or that particular place. And it is important in the field of aviation. Helps to determine the location of a place accurately. You know, in modern warfare, they use digital navigators and compass to determine the location and position of the enemy, so that when they strike, the target will not be missed. Now, back to what we are saying. This is just an example, and you find out that I did not just write 53, I wrote 053. That tells us that bearing is in two forms. Alright? Bearing is in two forms. Number one, we have the three-figure bearing. Three-figure bearing. Otherwise known as true bearing. Bearing. Now, it is often described in terms of 3 digits. That is why I wrote 053. Other ones you can see, e.g. can have it as 006 degree, 060 degree, 253 degree. Number two, the second type of bearing you can have is the compass bearing. Now, you see this number one. The reference point is always from what? Is always from the north. That is, the starting point of measurement is always from the north, and the angle is between 0 and 360. So you can go all the way from 0 degree to 360 degree. That's how you measure the angle under three-figure bearing or true bearing. But you see the compass bearing, the reference point is from is with respect to the north or south. When you are drawing it, it is with respect to the north and south. So I can just say it is with respect to the north or south. So you either measure it taking the north and the south, and the angle is between 0 and 90 degrees. It means that the angle does not exceed 90 degrees. E.g., this how it can be written: 50 degree northeast, 60 degree southwest, as the case may be. So this is the way it can be represented, and it's very important to take note. It's also known as this one actually based on quadrants. So it is important to note that in a quadrant we have something like this. Each of these quadrants, this is the first quadrant, second quadrant is also 90 degree, third quadrant is also 90 degree, fourth quadrant is also 90 degree. So it's very important. And then under this particular compass bearing, this is north, east, west, south. Under this one, this is north, east, west, and south. All right. So here we can have other points, other direction apart from the north. This one now, since it falls between north and east, we call it the northeastern region. This first quadrant denotes the northeastern region. Now the third quadrant, the fourth quadrant rather, denotes the southeast region. That is what we have there. And this one denotes the southwest region. And this last one will be the northwest region. So you have it. And note that bearing is always measured clockwise. It means that if I'm drawing the angle, I go from the north. You can see the arrow is going clockwise. It's going clockwise. So that is how we measure our angles in bearing. Now, let's look at let's take a look at some cases. Example, actually. We want to look at this example one. We are meant to express the true bearing of 250 degree as a compass bearing. All right. So we have this is a past question, so we have options like, is it 20 degree east? B, is it 20 degree southeast? C, is it 20 degree northwest? D, is it 70 degree southwest? So these are the options we have for this particular question. Now, looking at this particular question, it's very good as a beginner in this topic to always use diagram always. I could look at this and then be able to tell you the answer because I've solved quite a lot of questions along this line. But as someone who is starting it, it's good to always use a diagram to illustrate what you are going to do. It gives you a clear view of the solution. So here, let's have the solution. They said, first of all, we need to draw this one and say, oh, this angle here is 250. So it starts like this, goes like this, and then let's estimate it that it stops here. All right. Now, thinking about 250, everything here actually is 250. This is 250 degree. 250 degree. But you know that each quadrant is 90 degree. So this is 90 degree. Here also occupy 90 degree, this particular place. Now this place, this is 180 degree already, here and here. What do we add to 180 degree that gave us 250? If you calculate very well, you discover that there is a remaining angle here, and that is 70 degree. Now, remember, when you are taking the compass bearing, you always take it with respect to the north, with respect to the south, and the angle is between 0 and 90. So I can't take the angle, so this one I'm talking about now. This is 70 degree, all right? I can't take from here with respect to the north because it already exceeds 90 degree. So I'm going to take this particular region, and this is actually what we are looking for. And here, our answer, if this is north, east, west, south, this is going to be what? The answer here is going to be 70 degree southwest. And that is what we have as option D. So option D is the correct answer. Let's look at another one. The question says, example 2. Which of the following bearing, which of the following true bearing is equivalent to 50 degree southwest? Our options are 040 degree, B 130 degree, C 230 degree, D is 22 degree. So from the knowledge of the first, you can also put that to work in this case. So here we have, first of all, let's draw our, this one implies that this southwest, north, east, west, south. It means the angle was somewhere here, and then here was 50 degree, isn't it? So now, if you look at this, when they say which of the following true bearing means by the time we start from the north, what angle are we going to obtain by the time we get to this particular place? That is what they are asking us. What angle did we turn? What angle did we turn for us to get to this line, to this particular line? And if you look at that carefully, you will see that this is 90 here, 90 degree, another 90 degree, and then this is 50. We took another 50-degree turn for us to reach this particular line, and this 50 degree, it means that our answer here is 90 degree plus 90 degree plus 50 degree, and this is going to be 180 plus 50, that is 230 degree, and that is our answer. Our answer is C. It's very, very easy. It's very, very easy. Now, just to conclude on that part, let me give another example. Perhaps you can just pause the video, answer the question, and check it out with mine. Example 3. The question says, find the compass bearing of 0.99 degree. Okay, we are looking for the compass bearing of this. Again, you need to draw and say, if this is 90 degree, you turn. That means there is another little angle here that makes everything 99 degree. So this is your 90, and then by the time you add the 9 degree, everything gives you what? Everything here gives you 99, isn't it? You have 90 degree and 9. Now what was left here, between here and this place, what was left? This second place is 90 degree. Okay, let me draw it for clarity. This is north, east, west, south. This is where I am now. Okay, now I'm looking at this angle here. I'm looking at this angle here. Already I know that this is 9 degree, isn't it? That is 9 degree. So what angle will be left here? It's obvious that I will add 81 to 9 degree to give us 99 degree. So in compass bearing, this is just this is going to be 81 degree southeast. 81 degree southeast is what you are going to have. And so that will be the end of this version. I'll move on to just look at basic example also on bearing between just two places. Then we'll build on that later on.